the tax man cometh. It's two things in life you cannot avoid: death and taxes. So this is a saying that is so true when it comes down to it. A lot of people don't believe it, or they choose to ignore it. But the reality is, in life you cannot avoid death and you cannot avoid taxes. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at my fixed expenses of running this fish room. Essentially, how much it costs me per year to operate this place in terms of fixed expenses like rent, utilities, phone bill, electric, other types of things like that, food for the animals, So we'll be looking at that in this video in detail, and I itemize it. This is actually for my accountant. I actually had to make a list, but I'm just gonna kind of show you guys how much it costs me to run this place, so you guys have an idea if you are planning to have a fish room of this size or something a little bit smaller or bigger, so you kind of gauge on what these costs might be. So without further ado, let's get into the video and find out how much it costs me to keep my fish in this house, in this facility.
Produced by Mali.
So we'll be looking at all the expenses, fixed expenses that are by month, per month, whatever. And these numbers or values are in Canadian dollars. And the reason I'm showing you these is because I want you guys to understand, if you are going to keep a fish room, several of you guys do, and a lot of you have shown interest in keeping multiple tanks. This is the type of cost it takes to maintain it on a monthly basis. And these values are in Canadian dollars, and it might be different from different regions in the world as well. Different things might cost different amounts. For example, some people might have to pay different things that I don't pay for, and you might not have to pay some of the things that I do pay for. So bear that in mind, and do a basic calculation like this before you get into the endeavor of keeping multiple tanks in your in your house or in your fish room, so that you have an understanding of where your money is going to go and how much it's going to be per month, and you're better prepared for it in the long run. So the first thing we're going to look at is probably the most expensive thing for me is my rent. My fish room is actually in my living room. So this is a 600 square foot room. My apartment is 1,200 square feet, and I pay a little bit over $1,200 for the entire apartment, including water. And so 600 square feet, I'm taking out $600 out of my rent for my fish room. Okay, so times that by 12 months, that gives me a grand total of $7,200. Okay, and the next expense we're going to look at is, for me at least, is another big expense, is electricity. I live in Canada, and it's actually right now minus 20 degrees Celsius, I believe. Yeah, it was really cold today, and it's actually getting colder tonight. Tonight's actually probably one of the coldest nights so far this year. I do have to heat my house, and it does cost me quite a bit to keep the heat on. I don't heat individual tanks, so that's a little bit cheaper for me, but electricity costs me quite a bit. And so my electrical expense is about $150, give or take, per month. And I mean, it is my apartment, so I'm not using a lot of electricity in the rest of the apartment. I'm gonna put 2/3 of my electrical expense for my fish room, which is about $100 a month on average. Sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little less, but let's say $100 for the sake of doing the math easier. And so it's about $1,200 in total for the year. So that's $7,200 plus $1,200 gives us a grand total of $8,400. And the next expense is my phone bill. So I have all these people that are calling me for fish, and I have to contact them back. People have to text me, and to maintain this place and also to pick up fish and all this stuff, I don't need to have a phone unless it's for my business. So for that purpose, I'm going to expense my entire phone, which is $50 a month. And it's a little bit more, but for the sake of making it simpler, let's call it 50. So that's $600. So as for the internet, I pay a little bit under $100, but I don't actually use a lot of it for my personal use. A lot of it is used for fish related purposes, to post ads, to post videos for you guys now, all last year, and also to do research for videos, to contact people that I'm doing videos with, to contact potential clients, to contact potential buyers for my fish, all that stuff, or for them to contact me through emails and whatnot. So I need to have that internet on, and so out of my $100 internet bill, I'm going to expense $50 towards my fish room, which is another $600 a year, so 50 times 12. So in total, for utilities, for phone and internet, we are spending $1,200 per year, and so that's going to be another, on top of the $8,400, it's another $1,200, so that would be $9,600 so far. Another fixed expense for me, at least, is my food expense. You guys probably see me buying a lot of fish food for my fish constantly and stuff like that, and so then for that purpose, we're going to expense about $100 a month on fish food. Every month I don't buy $100 worth of fish food, but then there's months that I buy $300-400 worth of fish food, and there's months I only buy $50 worth of fish food. But on average, let's say I spend $100. I do spend a little bit more, but for the purpose of this video and also for my taxes, we're going to expense $100. I have receipts for it, and so we'll say $100 on food per month, so about $1,200 in food. So that gives us a grand total of $10,800. That's almost $11,000 so far. And there's not a lot of other fixed expenses. I do not pay for water here, which I'm grateful for. My water is included in my rent, so that's good. I don't use a lot of water. I use like 125 gallons every 2 weeks to do water changes. You guys can see some of the buckets here waiting to do water changes. So aside from that 125 gallons, I don't like take baths and stuff. I take showers, so it doesn't cost me a lot of water to take a shower, like as much as doing a bath. Like in a bath, it would be about 50 gallons at a time. If you have to take 3 baths, it's 150 gallons a week. You know what I mean? I use less water than that to change my water every 2 weeks, so it's not a big expense, and it doesn't even register in the meter realistically, because I'm not using an RO machine. My tanks are quite stable, you know what I mean? A lot of these tanks get about 35-40% in water changes, maybe every week, every 2 weeks. It's not a big deal, so it doesn't cost me anything actually. So I'm not including water in this expense, but that is something you would have to consider depending on where you are and what your own individual situation is, so you would have to calculate that in there as well. So the last expense I'm going to put in here is miscellaneous, and this is going to be things like medications that you might have to buy, which is not something you might buy every month, but when you do have to buy, you might have to spend quite a bit. There's other things like I had to buy plugs and stuff, new power bars. So we're gonna put about $100 a month on medications and miscellaneous expenses, like and that's whatever else that you might need to get, and so we'll be $1,200 a month, and that gives us a grand total of $12,000 in total, and so that's about $1,000 a month that I'm spending to keep my fish. That's a quite expensive hobby when you really think about it, right? So that's basically what I wanted to cover in this video. So I just want you guys to think about these things when you are planning on setting up your fish room, and if you already do have a fish room, it's a good idea to look at it as a business. And aside from that, I didn't add any expenses for the fish or the fish tanks or anything like that, so that this video covers the basic monthly costs, like operational costs once you have the fish room and stuff like that. So like when buying fish is the next thing, that's an added expense that you might have to think about separately on top of this, as well as fish tanks and equipment, which I didn't add in this segment of the video. If you guys do want me to cover other similar topics like this, please comment below and let me know so I can do that for you. And if there's anything else you want me to cover in future videos as well, like aside from this point, something related or not related, I would like to know, because I do read all your comments. So please comment and let me know. And as always, thank you so much for your love and support. The channel's growing really fast, and you guys are a big part of that. So thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed, there's about 65% of you that haven't subscribed yet. So I highly recommend subscribing and hitting that notification icon, because there's a lot of cool videos coming in the coming days and weeks and months ahead. As always, thank you so much for your love and support. I'll see you in the next video. God bless you all. And in my fish room.